So, you're dreaming of Hokkaido, Japan's incredible northern island, but you've got this feeling, right? That there's gotta be something more out there than just the typical tourist trail. Well, if that's you, you are in exactly the right place. We are about to dive into a totally different way to travel, one that goes way beyond just luxury and into something, well, something truly awe-inspiring.
Okay, just listen to this quote. This is from a real traveler after staying at a super famous Michelin-listed inn. And it just captures a feeling I think we all know a little too well. That feeling of expensive disappointment. You know the one. You pay a premium for something, you get all excited, and then you find out it's just crowded, kind of generic, and honestly, not worth it.
I mean, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? It's such a common frustration, this huge gap between what's promised in a luxury brochure and what you actually get. You follow all the guides, you book the famous places, and you end up feeling like you're just being processed. Well, guess what? There's a reason this keeps happening, and we're gonna break it all down.
So first things first, let's talk about something I call the luxury travel trap. It's this subtle cycle that honestly, even the smartest, most seasoned travelers fall into. And it's the key to understanding why famous so often ends up being just plain frustrating.
You see, this trap creates two completely different kinds of travel. On one side, you've got what we can call checklist luxury. This is all about ticking boxes, right? Hitting the famous spots on Hokkaido's Golden Route, the same places everyone else is going, which means crowds and pretty standardized service. But then there's intellectual luxury. And this isn't about the price tag, it's about the value. It's about finding those untouched spots, having experiences driven by a real story, and maybe most important of all, having true autonomy over your own time.
And look, this isn't just about your personal disappointment. This chase for checklist luxury has real, sometimes devastating consequences for the places we visit. In the gorgeous town of BA, farmers have literally had to cut down iconic, beloved trees because tourists were trespassing and just destroying their crops to get a photo. It's led to parking bans, hiring guards to control crowds, and in the most tragic cases, people have actually died. It's a shocking look at just how destructive over-tourism can be.
So if this travel trap is so unfulfilling and even damaging, why do we keep falling for it? Well, the answer is kind of fascinating. It lies in this psychological principle that affects pretty much every decision we make today.
It's called the paradox of choice. The idea is actually super simple, but it's huge. Basically, having too many options doesn't make us feel more free, it just makes us more anxious. And in the end, we're actually less satisfied with whatever we choose. The problem isn't that we don't have enough information, it's that we're drowning in it.
And that information flood leads straight to what's called analysis paralysis. We get stuck in this totally exhausting loop, right? We're reading endless reviews, comparing prices, fighting this massive fear of missing out. The whole thing just becomes so overwhelming that we do the one thing that feels safe. We default to the most famous option, the very checklist luxury we were trying to avoid in the first place.
Okay, but what if there was a way to break out of that cycle? A way to use technology not to create more noise, but to get rid of it?
Well, this is where we introduce a completely new kind of compass for planning your travels.
And here's the key idea, the big shift in thinking. Real luxury today isn't about having more choices. It's about the confident removal of noise. So the solution isn't just another travel app with a million more reviews. It's using a tool, like AI, as your own personal trust engine, one that only works with information that you say is reliable.
And it's actually incredibly simple. Step 1, you gather your sources. Articles from writers you respect, deep dive forum threads, guides you actually trust. You just upload them. Step 2, you tell it what really matters to you. We're looking for solitude, or we are massive foodies. And then, step 3, the AI does its thing. But, and this is the most important part, it only uses the sources you provided to build a custom itinerary that actually reflects your values. You're always the curator. So, what does this actually look like on the ground in Hokkaido? What kind of experiences does this new way of planning unlock? Okay, this is the fun part. This is where we go from theory to reality. And honestly, the results are incredible.
First off, let's talk about where you sleep. Instead of some big, touristy hotel that's packed with tour buses, imagine staying in a private villa designed by a world-class architect like Kengo Kuma. The difference is just profound. You're no longer a guest who has to show up for the breakfast buffet at a certain time. You become a resident. You have total autonomy to just live in and experience that space on your own terms. That freedom, that's the ultimate luxury.
And that same idea applies to everything you do. Take a brown bear tour, for instance. A standard tour crams you onto a bus with 30 other people, just so you can say you saw the animal. But a curated expedition, it's led by an expert wildlife photographer with a maximum of 4 people. And all of a sudden, the focus shifts completely from just consuming to conservation and respect. You're not just looking at a bear, you are respectfully entering its world.
And of course, the food. This approach changes everything. Gastronomy stops being a checklist of famous dishes and becomes a series of incredible stories. You're not just drinking wine, you're tasting a winemaker's whole philosophy on the unique umami of Hokkaido soil. That piece of cheese on your plate, it's the end product of a social mission. That Michelin-starred dinner, it's the chef trying to literally put the essence of the forest on your plate.
And really, that's what it all boils down to, isn't it? The goal is no longer to just consume a place, to tick its boxes and then move on. The real goal is to form a genuine, deep connection with it.
Which brings us to the most important part of this whole equation, you. Because with this new philosophy and with these new tools, you now have everything you need to plan a journey that is truly 100% your own.
So as you start thinking about your next trip, whether it's to Hokkaido or somewhere else entirely, just ask yourself this one question. Are you building a checklist of things you saw, or are you creating a legacy of moments that actually change the way you see the world?
The power isn't with the generic guidebooks anymore. It's not with the crowded forums. It's with you. You have the philosophy of what true luxury is, and you have the tools to cut through all the noise. It is time to stop being just another tourist and to start being the architect of your own awe-inspiring journey.